Good day everyone, I will be your third host in the continuation of the topic vertical integration. Again, vertical integration is a strategy used by a firm to gain control over its suppliers or distributors in order to increase the company's power in the marketplaces, reduce transaction costs, and secure supplies or distribution channels. Many businesses around the world use vertical integration to gain competitive advantage. Some of the examples are Apple Incorporation, Samsung Electronics, and Coca-Cola Company, and many other businesses. Now let's define what are the benefits of this vertical integration in a company or firm, including securing critical supplies and distribution channels, lowering cost, facilitating scheduling and planning, facilitating investment in specialized assets. Vertical integrations allow the company to increase potential efficiencies through improved coordination and the fine-tuning of adjacent value chain activities. For example, the HTC company, they allowed to secure scarce design talent and capabilities that it leveraged into a new design of smartphone with superior quality and features built in, enhancing the differentiated appeal of its product with a lower cost. Vertical integration along the industry value chain can also facilitate investment in specialized assets. What does this mean? A specialized asset is a unique asset with high opportunity cost. Um, they have significantly more in their intended use than in their next best use. The specificity asset comes in three types, which are site specificity, physical asset specificity, and last human assets specificity. First, let's define site specificity. Is an asset that are required to be co-located, meaning to say it can be transferable into another places, for example, mining and aluminum smelting. Second, physical asset specificity. It is an asset whose physical, for example, engineering properties are designed to satisfy a particular customer, such as bottling machinery for Coca-Cola and PepsiCo. Since the bottle have different and often trademarked shape, they required a unique mold, but in contrast, cans of PepsiCo and Coca-Cola Company do not require the physical assets specificity. And lastly, human asset specificity. This asset is an investment. It was made by human capital to acquire unique knowledge and skills, such as mastering the routines and procedures inside the specific organization, like workers, which are not transferable to different employers. Risk of vertical integration depending on the situation. Vertical integration has several risks, including increasing cost, reducing quality, reducing flexibility, increasing the potential for legal repercussions. A higher degree of vertical integration can lead to increasing in cost for a number of reasons. An example: in-house suppliers tend to have a higher cost structures because they are not exposed to market competition. Knowing that there is always be a buyer for their product reduces their incentives to lower cost. A higher degree of vertical integration can also reduce a firm's strategic flexibility, especially when faced with changes in the external environment, like fluctuations in demand and technological change. For example, when technological process innovations enable significant improvements in steel making, mills such as US Steels and Bethlehem Steels were tired to their fully integrated business models and were thus unable to switch technologies. That leads to the bankruptcy of many integrated steel mills. However, Due to monopoly concerns, vertical integration has not gone entirely unchallenged. Another example, carefully reviewed PepsiCo's plans to reintegrated its two largest bottlers, which gives the firms full control of about 80% of its North American distribution. Before engaging in vertical integration, therefore, managers need to be aware that this corporate strategy can increase the potential for legal repercussions, or in other words, consequences or inaction. Alternatives to vertical integration. There are two kinds of alternative to vertical integration. First, taper integration. Second, strategic outsourcing. Taper integration. It is a way of orchestrating value activities in which a firm backwardly integrated, but it also relies on outside market firms for some of its supplies, and or it in forwardly integrated but also relies on outside market firm for some of its distribution. Researchers have provided empirical evidence that taper integration can be beneficial. Firms that persuade taper integration achieved superior performance in both innovation and financial performance when compared with firms that relied more on vertical integration or strategic outsourcing. Taper integration has several benefits. First, it exposes in-house suppliers and distributors to market competition so that performance comparisons are possible, rather than hollowing out its competencies by relying too much on outsourcing. Taper integration allows a firm to retain and fine-tune its competencies in upstream and downstream value chain activities. Second, taper integration also enhances a firm's flexibility. For example, when adjusting a fluctuation in demand, a firm could cut back on the finished goods it delivers to external retailers while continuing to stock its own stores. And last, using taper integration, firms can combine internal and external knowledge, possibly paving the path for innovation. As you can see in the table, Exhibit 8.6 illustrates the concept of taper integration along the vertical industry value chain. Here, the firm sources intermediate goods and components from in-house suppliers as well as outside suppliers. In similar fashion, a firm sells its products through company-owned retail outlets and through independent retailers. This will be my last topic. Strategic outsourcing. Another alternative to vertical integration is strategic outsourcing, which involved moving one or more internal value chain activities outside the firm boundaries to other firm in the industry value chain. In the popular media, in every conversation, you may hear the term outsourcing, used to mean sending jobs out of the country. Actually, when outsource activity taking place outside the home country, the correct term is offshoring or offshore outsourcing. By whatever name, it is a huge phenomenon. For example, Infosys, one of the world's largest technology companies and providers of IT services to many Fortune 100 companies, is located in Bangalore, India. The global offshoring market is estimated to be $1.4 trillion and is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 15%. Banking and financial services, IT, and healthcare are the most active sectors in such offshore outsourcing. More recently, U.S. law firms began to offshore law and legal work such as drafting standard contracts and background research to India.